This is the radio for my Humber. It's a Radio Mobile 1070X, and it's just long wave and medium wave. And because there's not much on AM these days, and kind of inspired by people like Mendit Mark on YouTube, I thought I'd have a go at adding um, Bluetooth to it. So yeah, I could just replace it, but it'd be nice to try and keep it going a little while. The car didn't come with this radio. I think my dad had had the car about 2 or 3 years when he had this fitted. So just would be nice to try and do it. Something to learn as well. I'm not an electronics expert, so in fact, far from it. So yeah, this isn't kind of like an advice. It's just kind of showing what I did because what I've done might be rubbish. It might damage the radio, or who knows, maybe even worse, it could catch fire. So that's why I'm not. It's not a kind of instructional video, just in case I'm really making a mess of this. But anyway, I've got it working, so I'm so far happy. And what I've done is I've created this. Uh, Set up this board and it's got a few things on it which I then wired into the radio. What things that made it kind of a bit more complicated for me to do than I was expecting was that from what I read and what I kind of knew from school many years ago, is I was expecting the one side of the potentiometer to be connected to ground, and it wasn't. It's actually connected to live, which explains why at one point I got the smoke coming out the radio, but thankfully it didn't seem to do any permanent damage. And yes, anyway, I checked with the meter, and also I got the schematics of radiomuseum.org, and you can see that here's the potentiometer for the tone and the volume, and they come down to here, which is positive. So that kind of confused me and did wonder what I'd need to do in that case, because what I'd seen was you connect the input across the ground side and the other side of the potentiometer, and disconnect the other input. But yeah, so I'm sure that's what I read, but yeah, being one side being positive, it confused me. So anyway, I kept playing about, and in the end, I managed to get something working, but definitely more through luck than judgment. And so, having got something working, I kind of set up this here. So what we've got here is just a fuse there to start with to take the 12 volts coming in. This little board converts 12 volts down to the to the 5 volts needed by this here, which is the Bluetooth module and MI18, if I remember rightly. So yep, that just gets well, it's just under 5 volts supply. I think we said about 4.8 volts just to keep it just a bit below. And then because the radio is mono and it's got a stereo output, I some more googling found out how do you convert stereo to mono, and the answer seemed to be just through a resistor on each channel and then join them together. So it's one resistor here for left, one for right, and then they join at this point. Come into this resistor here just to lower the output a little bit. And originally that's where I stopped and then connected that right into the radio. But because of the thing I was saying about with the one side being positive, I wasn't, even though it worked, I wasn't kind of too sure whether it would do some more damage to this or to the radio. So I built this little extra bit on the end. So I think this is a class A, I think, amplifier. So basically just to put it through here and then feed that into the radio, then goes through this cable, actually goes into a switch, and then the switch enables me to toggle between the radio and Bluetooth. So these are screened cables to try and reduce noise. It's not perfect, it does work. There's a bit of hum, and also there is also some crossover because even when I got this switch to Bluetooth, if you turn the volume up, you can still hear the radio, which is not great, but just have to detune it a little bit when I've got Bluetooth on, and it seems okay. Have to see what's like when it's fully installed in the car. So that's what I've got so far. What I'm trying to do is avoid any permanent damage to the radio. Yes, as I say, I'm concerned that my electronics knowledge might damage it, but leaving that to one side, I'm just trying to avoid any sort of permanent physical damage. So the change inside can be undone with a bit of soldering, and rather than make holes in the cases, there's already an output I've been able to feed the cables through, and then I'm going to mount this on the back using the ground bolt here. And I'm going to do that by putting that on there and then bolting that onto there. Okay, so there it is all mounted up. I'll tighten it up more when it's in the car because I need to put the ground cable connected to that bolt. But yeah, that's it. So it seems reasonably tidy. see what it's like when it's mounted in the car. Hopefully it won't be too obvious, even though there will be a couple of lights going on, and there's a light on the power supply and a blue LED on the Bluetooth module, so that might show up a bit, but hopefully it won't look too bad. So yeah, now I go out to the car and mount it. My first attempt at mounting the radio into the car threw up two problems. First of all, the fuse, which was at right angles to the circuit board, perfectly lined up with the raised edge of the parcel shelf and was rubbing against it, so I've changed that to go sideways. Hopefully well, I think we'll stay there for now. It'll probably break off if I ever have to take the fuse out, but it seems solid enough for the moment. And the other thing is cable broke off here, so I just put um, kind of a couple of little sort of wire clamps around the cables where they go into the circuit board to sort of act as strain relief on those. So fingers crossed, second time lucky. So there it is, mounted back in the car. A couple of jobs left to do is just to mount this switch somewhere, and the other is to get some new black card just to smarten that up around there. The circuit board is visible underneath the radios, probably would have expected from where I mounted it, but you can't see it when you sat in the car, so I can live with that okay. But the main thing is it's working, so I think that should be onto radio. So that's fine. Reception's not great in here, but it's still working. That's the main thing. And then switch over to Bluetooth. Yep, so as I say, it's all working, and really pleased where that's turned out. And it's nice being able to do it without actually doing any permanent damage to the radio. As I said earlier, it can all go back to its original spec if wanted. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching.